back. All right, questions for Coach Collins?
Coach, you guys really started off that second half there with a different intensity. Even the fourth quarter, just kind of what happened to maybe lose that towards the end of the game there?
Well, I don't think we lost our intensity. That they were still playing hard. But Liberty adjusted to what we were doing defensively, and I just wasn't comfortable changing and taking a chance on Avery Mills getting free. And she got free on that last play. She ran off 2 screens, and I just wasn't going to take a chance on letting her. I mean, she busted us hard in the first half, 3 for 6 from the 3-point line, and so she made one big one in the second half, and so we weren't going to. And they started using her as a screener. And that started getting Stout free in the paint, and we were trying to bring, more help side and quicker double teams. We couldn't get there quite fast enough, and credit to them. But I think they still played hard. I don't feel like we lost our intensity. They just did a good job of executing the shots, and we didn't get out to that 3-point shot at the end. And then we had a critical turnover. Not that last play. I should have taken time out and done another play. But we had a possession before that, and we turned the ball over. It'd been great to get a shot up, maybe get a foul, get a bucket, and not put ourselves in that spot.
Coach, on a positive note, what do you think that the ladies did well in the second half to allow them to come back?
Well, we rebounded a little bit better. We still lost the boards by 6 or 7. What was it? 7. We lost it by 7. But it was really Annie coming in and playing defense on Avery Mills, and that was huge. And then Zophie Talegdi, finished with a double-double, had 8 rebounds at halftime, and she did a tremendous job on Stout. And I think Stout still had 18, but she's a really good. And Zoe didn't get a break in the second half, and so they fought hard, and I told them at the end of the game they played. We asked them before the game, play with pride, play hard, play with tremendous effort, so that at the end of the game, regardless of the outcome, you're proud, your fans are proud, your family's proud of what you did, and they did that, and we just a possession, a shot, a stop. We were one of those short.
I know we talked earlier in the week about number 6 for Liberty, Efi.
Right.
And she wasn't on the court tonight. So did that kind of bring an extra intensity from maybe the rest of these girls to hit the boards harder?
Honestly, Samantha, it probably brought an extra intensity on Ja'Kayla Thompson being from Kentucky, and we wanted her here. And so she got a start tonight. She hasn't been starting. And Iffy didn't play in the last game, so I'm not sure what she's going through. Wish her the best. But our girls were focused. They had 3 good days of practice. Their energy. I've never had a team that's struggled as much as we're struggling to win games. We're really fighting uphill against some of the players and the programs that we're trying to compete against. But they continue to come in with a positive attitude. They continue to do a great job with their scout. We're just not always the best finishers or the best passers or the best ball handlers. And so, but you know what? I'll take the best effort and the best attitude any day.
About all the screens that Liberty was running, that seemed like it was a backbone of their offense. Did y'all expect that going into the game, or was that kind of a shock? Or
No, that's what they do. They're real methodical, and they're trying to get the best shooter in the conference as many shots as they can. And then they're trying to get the best post player in the conference as many shots as they can. And so they're screening and doing as many things as they can. And then the other players kind of play off of that. And so we knew that. Now, I don't think they expected us to come out and deny Avery like we did in the third quarter. I think that's why they only scored 3 points in that quarter. But they adjusted. We just didn't have another. I wasn't comfortable coming off of Avery. I just wasn't. She's just too good of a shooter, and I felt like if we did something else that maybe she gets too free too fast, like she done that last possession. And so we had talked about, and a couple of times Salma did a great job in one possession of switching. If she set a screen, we talked about switching who was guarding her, and then just jump. And we didn't that last one because we just didn't.
That intensity that we saw in the third quarter and the start of the fourth as well, how can you kind of bring that into tomorrow's game? Really quick turnaround.
Yeah, we get frustrated when we make turnovers or we miss what we think are easy shots, or we even get frustrated sometimes when we think we get fouled and it doesn't get called. And so that mental toughness from adversity is what we just, if we can take a little bit more pride in our defensive effort and our rebounding effort, even though we got out rebounded tonight. I told them at halftime, there were several possessions in the first half where they did a tremendous job of boxing out. But there's also several possessions where we had, somebody watching or somebody leaking, and that's the one person that gets that offensive board. And I think they had 7, I believe, offensive rebounds or 6. I don't remember at halftime. I know we had 1. That's all we had. I remember that. So it wasn't awful, but it wasn't great either. And so if we can just sustain that effort, we struggle to score, honestly. I mean, we just do. We're not, we have moments where we make shots, but we're about to win a game in the 50s. We're not in the 70s. We're used to playing in the 70s and the 80s, and so we've got to grind it out as much as we can to try to have a chance to win. And so we've got to keep playing that kind of stingy, the best we can, stingy defense, and try to make it hard for teams to score.
Was there a reason that there was more action from Tia Schelling and Annie as opposed to Silva? She hasn't seen a lot of action more recently, and is that due to opponent's style of play or any particular reason? It
was mainly defense. That's it. You want to play defense and rebound. That's about 3. You take care of the ball, play defense, and rebound. It's got nothing to do with shooting the ball. And so if you want to play defense. And so Tia, and I felt confident from practice, Annie had done as well as anybody in practice all 3 days of doing what she did in the second half. And so we had practiced that, and she was ready, and I felt confident because she was doing that on one of our really, really good practice guys and making it difficult for him to even get touches. And so I felt confident she would do a good job, and she did. And Tia's continued to learn and improve how to play defense without fouling. And that's the key, is to not just because she gets in foul trouble, but that puts the other team at the free throw line. And you can't play defense at the free throw line. And so she's continued to improve, and she didn't get to play last year. And she was behind Lex Mead, and she wasn't going to get to play a lot. And so, she's gotten to where now she's pretty heady, and she recognized that last possession she had the ball and she was attacking, and she tried to turn, and they picked her. And so that's something we all are still working on is just being strong and confident with the ball and not trying to always pivot away and exposing that ball. But she's continued to, she had several good attacks to the rim. She got to the free throw line more than anybody else at halftime. And so she's continuing to grow and learn, and we need her at her best for us to win.
Kind of a unique situation here. Less than 24 hours until your next matchup. What's kind of just the key in this really quick turnaround and just kind of coming out on
Yeah, we talked. It's a little bit like a tournament, it's like getting ready. You got to play the next day. We're not necessarily, looking for tournament experience right now. We're trying to win a ball game. And so the best thing for us would be to have Zophie Talegde and Trinity Rowe to get rest, and Salma Kadur and Tori to get rest. That would be the best thing for us, but that's not our choice. And we don't need to put anybody else in jeopardy for traveling, during the storm. And so we just got to, we'll get treatment tonight, we'll get treatment in the morning, we'll watch film, do a little walkthrough, and then we'll tip it up. And, I think more than the physical fatigue is the mental fatigue that you have from fighting in a game like this and coming up 2 points short, and that's draining. That's tough on you. And so I told him in the huddle, I said, you played hard enough to win, you deserve it. My bad for the last play. We needed a better play with 4 seconds to go, but we got to drop it. We got to just leave it, and you got to focus forward, and we got to keep pedaling that bike uphill.
Sorry to backtrack, but the one offensive rebound at halftime, what do you account for that? I mean, I saw Tori James going after rebound, and it still only amounted to 1. So is that a lack of effort from other people? Because I know you mentioned that before. Mm-hmm. Is that her kind of thinness as opposed to other forwards and post players? Is there...
Well, it's different. What you're talking about is different between offensive and defensive rebounding. And so, on defensive rebounding, Tori's a go-get-it player. She just goes and finds the ball. Offense, everybody's got a responsibility. And we got some watchers right now. And so we've got to get better at not being a watcher. And we've got to do our job. And sometimes we have breakdowns like we do in other areas of the game, and that's something we've got to continue to. And credit to Liberty, they're physical at boxing out. They do a pretty good job. They got two, and if he's out, but they got two of the best rebounders in our conference. And I know if he didn't play tonight, but Stout's still pretty good defensive rebounder. I don't know what she ended up with tonight, but we all have to pursue that thing a little bit more.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Coach.